now let's hop over to the phones, and on the line, we will find our good friend, Winnebago County Clerk Lori Gummow. Lori, good morning.
Good morning, Riley. Good morning, Joe.
How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
You are fabulous. I've always thought that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's part of your overall charm.
Thank you.
I know this has slipped a lot of people's minds, but, there's an election right around the corner. I know many of you are dropping your coffee cup going, wait, why wasn't I told? Well, we're telling you now. And
it does come around about every 4 years.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I knew that there was some sort of scheduling.
Yeah.
I got to get more with the civic stuff. Hey, listen, how much of this election stuff falls under your purview?
Thanks for asking, Riley.
Sure.
As the Winnebago County Clerk, we are the election authority for residents who reside outside the limits of the city of Rockford.
Okay.
So if maybe you're in a pocket or you live in the county, those are the residents that we serve. We kind of have a unique situation where here in Winnebago County, we have two separate election authorities. So a lot of times when I'm speaking, I'm representing Winnebago County residents, but if you live in the city, those voters are served by the Rockford Board of Elections.
Okay, so know where you are, and then you will know which authority you should be listening to on how you go about things.
Correct. But a lot of the times, we're following the exact same, guidelines, deadlines, the same rules. We just serve different residents of the community.
Okay, and with this COVID-19 fun that we're having along, this is just going to make it streamlines the whole process, I'm sure, for you. Makes it a lot easier than it would normally go.
Actually, in June, we were handed Senate Bill 1863, which is about 6 pages of new, in addition to our regular services, things that we have to do in addition to help serve the voters of Winnebago County this year. Again, because of COVID, we want to make as many steps as we can to ensure the safety of not only the voters, but the election judges who are working to serve those voters, our election staff, the postal workers, everyone along the line. We're very concerned about preserving their health and their safety, and that's why we have so many new procedures this year.
Yeah, and it goes far beyond someone who's just going to cast their vote. There are so many other people who's through a volunteer effort, or maybe it's their job overall, but that work all together to make this thing work. It's just a lot more than...
It's an army, Riley, that we have had to assemble to make sure that this one process comes off seamlessly this year.
But this process is fairly important, so I can see why the extra effort would be called for. So what are the differences? What are the new things? What should people have in the forefront of their minds?
Well, the big one was the first thing that Senate Bill 1863 required us was anybody who has voted in any one of the last 3 elections were mailed an application to vote by mail. We are encouraging people to either vote by mail or vote early so that you're avoiding the lines at the polling locations on Election Day. And this is really nothing that's been new as far as mailing in your ballot. We've been doing absentee ballot voting for, I think, since the Civil War. It's just got a little different name, and they're encouraging people to vote from your kitchen table, make your selection, put it back in an envelope, mail it back to us. So that has kind of been one of the biggest changes. We in Winnebago County mailed out close to 60,000 applications, and hopefully you received one in the mail. And there's also been some third-party vendors who have been sending applications. It's really not necessary to fill them out multiple times, but you...
It is Illinois. That's how we vote here, I think.
Well, you can only vote once. You can apply more than once, but you can only vote once here in Illinois.
Keep that in mind. You just heard that from the county clerk. That means
Yes.
say she's serious. Okay.
Yeah, very, very serious. And then a lot of people have been saying, I've made my application. Why haven't I received my ballot? So this is a very important thing I want to share with all your listeners. The earliest that any ballots from any election authority can be mailed is September 24th. So you won't be getting your ballot until after that time. So don't get too excited if you haven't received it yet. We have posted our sample ballot on our website, so you can go and see some of your options. Now, this is a sample, so it includes all precincts, but it gives you a pretty good idea of who's running for what position and what your choices might be, so that when your ballot is received, you'll have a little bit of a preparation to know who you want to cast your vote for.
Which is always helpful because, life comes at you pretty fast, and lately it's been doing a lot of that, a lot of things going on in people's lives, maybe not had a chance to sit down and look over who's running for what the issues are in certain races. You look up the issues on your own, but you'll see who's running for what, and it'll all be described to you right there, so you'll have a better idea when it comes time to put pen to paper.
Exactly. And then September 24th is also the very first day that we can start early voting. So we will be providing early voting here in our administration building, which is 404 Elm Street. Again, that's for residents living outside the city limits. That will start September 24th. So if you feel more comfortable voting in person, that's when early voting starts. And just this week, I announced a new location for county residents. We're going to have a storefront at the Meadow Mart Mall, which is on North 2nd Street across from the North Suburban Library. It's the furthest south vacant storefront. They're providing that location for us. It's 6,000 square feet, so we'll have plenty of room for social distancing, again, trying to preserve the health and safety of the voters and the election judges. And we will have evening hours, weekend hours leading up to the election on November 3rd.
Outstanding. So that'll make it a lot easier for people, like me. I like to go into the booth and cast the vote in person and do it that way. It doesn't necessarily have to happen on election day. I've done the early voting a couple of different times, but it's a nice option to have.
It's very nice. And again, we encourage people before you go, whether it's early voting or on election day, make sure you know that your registration is up to date, that you don't have any issues before you get there. Know where your polling location is at or where some of the early voting locations are. Again, if you're with the city, they have, their locations. We have ours. You might want to bring your voter ID card just along just in case, or your driver's license in case we have any questions. And again, make sure you know what's on the ballot. Don't spend a lot of time in the polling booth trying to make your decision there. Make sure you have an idea of who you're going to vote for before you get there. That helps move the lines along a little bit quicker, either, again, early voting or on election day. Because
they're I think, by necessity are going to be a little bit slower simply because you have to maintain that distancing while you're doing things, and people are going to stack up a bit.
Right, and we've been measuring out, the 6-foot distancing between the booths and between the judges, and we're trying to put, safety guards and procedures in place. And let me also mention, Riley, we're still signing up new poll workers. A lot of our regular judges, because the average age puts them in a risk category. So we are still recruiting people who want to take part in that day. I will tell you, it's a long day. I've served myself as an election judge previously, but at the end of the day, you feel as though you've really given to the democratic process. You're a part of the system. You have a better idea what's going on. So please don't hesitate to sign up. And no matter where your listeners are, I'm sure every county clerk or election authority would welcome new election workers this year.
Oh, without a doubt, and kudos to those. Yeah, I know that at my particular polling place, I see the same faces every time that I go in to vote. The same nice folks who give of themselves and give of their time and spend all day and deal with all of us. And it's always, they're really super people. They're a delight, and I can understand why some of them might decide to beg off given the current conditions this year. But at some point, we're going to need a new crop of people who are willing to step up and do that.
We always need to be recruiting new, because even not age, but some people maybe move out of town, or they're retired to another state, or maybe they've had a work issue come up. So we're always recruiting and looking for new people to be a part of the process.
What are the what are the qualifications? What do you need to what do you need to check? What boxes do you need to check to make sure you can do that?
Well, we do have information about becoming a judge on our website. There's an application there, so you can go there and look. There's also different ways that you can sign up. It's very minimal. You have to be, if you're going to be 18 by the time of November 3rd, you have to have the ability to speak and write, legibly. You need to be able to have some computer skills, things like that, but they're pretty basic, Riley. So again, as you can tell, a lot of times they're the same judges, but we're really encouraging some new people to come on board this year to be a part of the process.
Yep, help everybody out, including yourself, because like you said, you walk away from a day like that knowing that, you always people talk about giving back. There you go. You've given back.
Right.
What else have we missed on this on the big list of stuff we should be ready for?
Okay, so let me tell you, if you did request a ballot to be mailed to your home, we really encourage you to either mail that ballot back, and it has to be postmarked by November 3rd. So we have 2 weeks after November 3rd to process all the ones that come into the mail. We also are providing a drop box outside our office at 404 Elm that if you're a little bit nervous about whether the Postal Service will get it here in time, you can put it in that drop box. But I like to explain, it's kind of like Christmas. You don't wait till the day before Christmas to send your Christmas cards.
Right.
So in this case, don't wait till the day before to put in your ballot. Now again, if it is postmarked on the 3rd, it will be counted. But if you're a little nervous considering the national stories that we're hearing about the Postal Service, don't be afraid about that. You can drop it in the drop box that we have. It'll be clearly marked. You don't have to come into our building. Again, that's for safety reasons. You can just drop it in the drop box outside 404 Elm Street. And that will be set up after September 24th, because nobody will have ballots before then. And we will count ballots up until November 3rd.
Outstanding. Now, for the early voting, I forgot to hit you up on that. I know it starts September 24th. What runs through?
Through the day before election.
The day before election. What are the hours for that?
Okay, so here in the Winnebago County Administration Building on September 24th, we'll be open 8:30 to 4:30 during the weekdays. And then once it becomes October 19th, we will have evening hours will be open till 7 p.m. We'll have Saturday and Sunday hours, 9 to 5, both weekends. So when we open up the early site at the Meadow Mart storefront, that will be Monday through Friday, starting October 19th. That will be 8:30 to 7 p.m. at night. And again, weekends will be 9 to 5. So we encourage people to try to go at off times, middle of the morning, middle of the afternoon, to try to avoid the crowds and, make it as seamless as possible.
All right. When you show up to early vote or you show up on Election Day itself, obviously social distancing being enforced and asked for, wear a mask. You got that going on as well? Anything?
We're encouraging everybody to wear a mask. Again, please keep in mind the poll workers have to be there for a very long day, and we're trying to encourage, the safety for their sake. And that's why a lot of the judges are concerned that we have plenty of protective procedures in place, and we do. We're also offering, the sanitizer and the cleaning and the shields. We will encourage people to use sanitizer after they have voted, so we don't get any sanitizer on the ballots themselves. But we're trying to do as many things as we can, Riley. Again, so that's why we're encouraging vote by mail, vote early, but you can only vote once here in Winnebago County.
Yeah, Chicago's rules are different. Ours here are.
I can't speak to that.
I know.
Here in Winnebago County, in Winnebago County, you can only vote once.
Okay. Yeah, you wouldn't make it in Cook County. I can tell already. That kind of attitude just isn't going to get people anywhere. All right. For people who have questions about anything that you have described for us here, and they didn't write down everything that you said, although I encouraged them to do so, go to the website for more, for complete coverage of all of it.
We have a lot of information on our website, which is WinnebagoCountyClerk.com, and you can click on the elections icon. Again, right there, you can request a ballot still by mail. You can look at a sample ballot. You can look at the times and the locations that we have early voting. If you're wondering who the write-in candidates are on this ballot, we have a list there as well. So all kinds of great information. And just in case you do have your pencil, our number to the elections department is 815-319-4252.
Just that simple. I don't say this to a lot of people in public life, but man, you're doing a hell of a great job. You really are.
Thanks, Riley. We try, and I admit I have a fabulous staff. They're hardworking. They're very knowledgeable. They help me look good.
Well, it's working. All of you working together. Very nicely done. Lori, thanks for taking time out of what I know is a really busy schedule to come in and fill us in on all of this.
And again, there's so much confusion out there, so I appreciate the opportunity to, get everybody voting.
And that's exactly what will happen. I hope. Fingers crossed. All right. Lori, thanks.
All right.
Have a terrific day.
Thanks, Riley. Same to you.